I'm system administrator at Allegro. Basically, I'm focused on virtualization right now. And I will show you the typical task which I'm focusing mostly each day. Okay, this is the short agenda. Okay, we'll briefly give you the information about the RAF. RAF is basically a data center infrastructure management system, and also the data change management database. Basically, the history of this open source project is about 2, maybe a little bit more years. Basically, in our infrastructure, we have lots more infrastructure device, servers, network device, etc. And we don't have any centralized point of information where the devices are installed. We just know we were using just the in our DNS server text field to fill the information where it's installed in specific rack or data center. But there was some problems with it. Sometimes somebody was taking your device and reinstalling the operating system, and NOC team was shouting, "Okay, we have problem. One of the production system is going down because something is going wrong." And in deep research, we find out somebody was taking your one or more machines to other project. Basically, we were looking for the DCM software on the market, but there was a bunch of really big solutions that have too many features that will not use in our infrastructure, or we have to customize it a little bit more than on the out of the box. So our sysadmins think, okay, maybe we try to write it on. It starts from the basic database and web interface where we have collect the information from our tools. And after that, we have decided we will start to develop this product. And to our team join Python developers, which give a boost for this project and start to develop this project very, very high and very fast. First release was basically the first features was to discover all our infrastructure, our servers, and put it together with the rack servers, with the racks, so we can know which device where is on our data center. Probably would you like to know why it's called RAF? The RAF is the name for the system because one of our developers told maybe we have, because we decided to put it on the open source community, and we decided to call this project and we were taking some brainstorm to what would be the name. And Łukasz Langa proposed that we will use the RAF. Why RAF? Because it is one of the characters from the Lord of the Flies, and this is the boy who got all the guys that was on the island after the crash. So RAF was the same thing that we are doing. So we are collecting all the informations and making it in one place. And also, like you see, this is the fly, which is on the logo of the project. Basically, RAF is now in second version, which is divided into the three modules. First is core, which basically is the database of your devices and your in-network information about networks, etc. Also provides ability to deploy deploy operating systems. And basically, this is the thing which I am most working on. The asset module is basically the thing that you're using the guys from the data center, which provides the from the whole life of the device, from purchasing to the end of the life. So they are using this tool to provide the information about devices which we are using. And the second module is pricing module, which is called Scrooge. This module basically calculates the total cost of ownership of the service. So basically, if you need some charge with your internal business, you can just easily make some reports to them. And also it's integrating with OpenStack, providing the providing the functionality which is giving you price for the whole infrastructure. Basically, it's giving the information about what the cost of the projects are, including the bare metal, the IT works, and etc. What are the daily tasks? Basically, I will start for the first task. First task is adding the device to RAV, because we have bought new server and we have to do something with it. So our guys in DC starting from adding the device. Basically, whole process looks like this. So we are first of all adding to the hardware to the asset database, and then we're making some quick scan, and after that we can deploy OS and also the additional tasks. Adding device to the assets is basically we have to know four information. First, we have to define the manufacturer. If we have already defined, so we just only choose from the list. Define the model, which is describing the information about particular model, and define the warehouse where it's on. And the one thing which is really necessary is this is the serial or barcode number. First of all, we define the manufacturer. We just enter the name, some hardware and vendor. This is the simple information about this manufacturer. Defining model is describing the whole bare metal box. First of all, we should fill the name for some server 1. Manufacturer, which we will choose from the list. Category, if we are, sorry. Category is predefined list of type of the devices, for example, rack server, blade servers, also the devices that are used in the back office. Also, we are putting the power consumption, height of the device, and cores. This information is needed for the Scrooge, so that will be providing the total cost. That will be provided in the calculation of total cost of the ownership. Also, we choose the type in which this device will be installed. For example, it will be used in the data center. There are some information about creating, last modification, who was creating, and who was modifying it. Also, we define the warehouse. In my example, I give the stock, because I have to put the sum on my stock, so I can go further with the installation. And after that, we can define or add the new device. And basically, we have two different options to do it. We can use by adding a single device using GUI, or using also GUI by bulk insert using prepared XML file or CSV. Okay. This is the first thing, and this is not whole whole screen of the adding device form, because there is also additional information about the contract, support, license, and other informations. Basically, we have to put this information to add this device. Basically, we choose the type, which can be data center or back office. If it's more, we can also define. And also, we choose from the list. I have selected already server model 1, which is hardware manufacturer 1, and type is rack server. If we are using the inventory number, we can just put it on the list. Also, we are using the stock the warehouse. In my example, is stock. And also, we can provide the status of the device. It's new, or it's being from the RMA, or it has been damaged. If you are using some kind of tracking or some order track system, you can just put the link, so you can be redirect directly to your system. Additional remarks, and the most interesting thing is about this, because in the service name we are bonding this device with our service, which is used to the Scrooge for the costing thing. And also the property of in this example is owner. Owner is the business of the owner of of this service. Okay, we have added the new device, but what we have do when we have plenty of it and we don't want to step by step adding the 100 servers. So we prepare the XLS file or CSV. Basically, on the first line, we have to include the header, which is describing the columns, and just upload the information using this form. It's just simple as 1, 2, 3. We are putting the information to the file. We have to set the model asset and which type we are putting to, or it's a data center or back office. After the file is uploaded, and we have to bond or correlate the information from the file from the records that will be inserted to the RAF database. For my example, I was calling the same columns in the file with the same with the RAF. So basically, we are putting the host name, model, and the warehouse. And basically, if we have new devices which are not defined like I was doing before, if you import them, they will automatically add to the device, so you need to just only fill the missing fields, like example of power consumption and other informations. After that, we get information what data was uploaded, and after that we just simply submit, and we have all the devices in our asset database. The next thing is that the sysadmin is taking off. It's taking the if we get the server from our DC team, they are providing information about the management console of the server, and we have to make a quick scan so that will bond this device with the information from the asset database. So first we are making the quick scan, which is bonding the two things. After that, we can just start doing the things we like to do. We can use RAF to deploy the OS, or we can just do it by your own. And the whole magic is about, also this is the simple as like 1, 2, 3, because we are finding the device in our system, pushing the button of deploy, and then we have to put some information, like example, IP network, management network, venture, role, and also the MAC address of the hardware machine. Basically, at the background, there are plenty of tasks doing with this deployment. First of all, the RAF is taking care of creating new records in DHCP server, and also with the DNS names. If we want to use the deployment via RAF, we have to provide the information about network, about the schema of the naming convention in our data center or back office, and also configure the data to configure the DHCP server that will be managed by the RAF. And also, RAF is using PowerDNS as the DNS server. So if you have already in your infrastructure PowerDNS, you just only in configuration file set the information to it. After that, after we have assigned the IP address, and RAF is taking care of assigning address and hostname, because it's taking the first hostname and first IP from the defined network, and it's taking the next step is assigning the venture and the role. What does it mean? Venture, we are taking the information about service, for example, about service, or you can choose anything, which is described by the roles. Roles is typical. You can separate the servers via functionality, for example, application server, database server, and etc. And the thing is going on with the roles is that the Puppet is using the classifier to decide to run the specific Puppet manifest on it after the deployment. After we decide which role and venture is assigning the machine, the server is booting via PXE, and starting to install your operating system. For example, if you are using Ubuntu, you have to provide the kickstart to RAF, so we can start the installation of it. So this is the OS deployment. This is from the GUI, you have 3 different states of the deployment. First of all, you get information that is open, So it's the starting the deployment, and the task what I have been describing before is taking at the background. And as you see, the deployment status is now open, and the status of plugins execution. So we can change status, DHCP, roles, DNS, and I don't see the last one. And this is things that change after the worker is taking the task from the queue. After that, when the deployment starts, it's in the progress state. As you see, the information has changed to the in progress. And this is my lab environment, so that this status should change to the green, but I don't have all the components installed. And after that, the deployment is finished, and you have your device installed. The status is just like that. So and that only there is additional information that the operating system has been installed on specific date, etc. And with the deployment of virtual machine is mostly similar with this bare metal servers, but we can do it in two different ways. First of all, we can use the traditional bare metal install, but we are providing the information, not the management network, but we are providing the information of management hypervisor. And the second thing is we can use templates to build the virtual machine, and for that we have to create the device before we start the deployment. After that, we can continue the installation using the standard OS deployment. Don't do it from the template. Basically, we can use API for that. We just need to specify the information that is this network, management IP, and the MAC, and also the venture, so the Puppet manifest can be applied on it. And deploying virtual machine from the template is very simple, because we are creating the virtual machine from the template. Then we rescan the hypervisor, and then you should see the new device on the hypervisor. So you just only click on this device and make some discovery, so you will finish about the installation. And the last thing I haven't put is finding the VM and add this DHCP and DNS. So after that, we have created the empty device. We have to provide all the information from the DHCP and DNS. I will show the information how to fill this in the next few slides. Basically, in RALPH, it's a little bit bright. There are two ways of discovering devices. One is pull, and the second is push. In the pull version, we can start discovering by whole network or a single device by putting the IP into GUI or CLI, or it will be doing by the scheduled task for the particular network. And after the other thing is, and the other thing, maybe I will give for this pool, we have already 30 and more plugins which are discovering the devices. The push method is using the API for sending we have to send the scan results to the RALPH server via API. We have to get the API key, so we can then send the information. We have to provide it on script or write some agent to do this for us. And after discovery on both methods, we have to accept the changes on the RALPH. Device discovery from the GUI is very simple, because we just use the quick scan like before. We can use use the information that we have already have, and then we are moved to the second side. We choose which type of the plugins we will be using to discover the typical disk hardware. And basically, the quick scan is using, as I know, three basic plugins, which is ping, SNMP, and the third is HTTP server recognition. And this information is filled after the quick scan first run. If we decide to choose all the scan plugins, we just start, and after that we receive this page which describes the information that is changing to our device. First of all, we can choose the asset, which is this device. The plugin is getting, as you can see, there are a few plugins, and you have to choose from which plugin you will be putting data to the RAV. You get host name, MAC address, model name. If there is the proper model, you have to choose also from the list, and also the serial number, which is read from the system. And after that, we just push the update for the particular device. And a few words about the discovery method from the push. Like I mentioned before, we have to obtain the API key from the RAV. Each user has generated API, so you can also do anything like he wants from the API. Prepare a script which generates the JSON data from the scan result, and send this data via API, which is full REST API, and then accept the information changes in the GUI. And this is the sample of the very simple discovery plugin. For example, we have the information about scan. So this is date, device, MAC address, plugin, which this name is Don Pedro, which I will give you information in next slides, and status of the discovery. The pushing data, I was using the curl method to send the data using the file to RAV API. And after that, I have to change the information from the GUI. When something is changed on the device, when you are looking at it, you get the information that the scan detects changes for the device. It means that the scheduled discover plugins find something what was changed before last time. And also, when you are sending the changes from the push method, you have to also the information like here. You just click on this link, and you will also get the information in this particular divided information, for example, disk, install software, because this example was on the Windows machine. And you get the information that you have to approve or not. Like you see, there is information about the plugin which I was doing, which was what I was doing. So we can also rescan, make full rescan of the machine, or select that there is no changes on the device. There is some information about the information which was discovered via our plugin. For example, there is information about hard drive disk and installed software. Information about also about memory. After we confirm the data, we can also get information from the device tab, which name is components. You get all the information which is on the particular device. And okay, this is the information from the Windows machine. There is free application installed on it. From the Linux operating system, there is the same information. And the first plugin which was using the push method was Don Pedro, which is the Windows agent. And we have some very funny case with that, because when it was written, we were testing on the different Windows version. It was 2003, 2008, 2012, and also Windows XP for the workstation, and there was no problem with it. So we was thinking, okay, it's working fine, there is no problem. So we put it into production, and after installation of it, we get information from several servers, but some of them will not responding. So we try to get the information, what's happening, why they are not sending the information. And there was problem with the changes that Microsoft did in Windows 2000 and Windows 2008, which removed the information from the installed updates from add remove program. On the older versions, there was all information about the patches. So the problem was that Don Pedro was taking the information from add remove program, and the server has lots of installed patch. There was the one of the variables was buffer overflow, and then agent was failing with the sending. It was very simple. We just because the problem was with putting the information to system event log, and the problem was that the variable in the event log was too short. So we removed the information that was sending to the event log. We just only send the information that the scan status is OK. And after that, the problem was solved. After installation of the Don Pedro, we have to configure the agent so he will be sending the information to proper route server using user and API key. And the Beast. The Beast is a command line tool that is basically the API command line tool. It's used for the manipulating from the command line the API request. For example, this is the help output. Like you see, we can use very simple commands to display the information from the RAV. For example, we can use show and results. We can put the device, venture, etc. We can also specify with some filters which display correct, which will display the information what we need. This is the information about venture. We can get the information when it was created, what is the version, what is the symbol. And the last, maybe not the last, but the thing I would like to share with you is how RAV is managing the DNS and DHCP records. And maybe I'll start with DNS. Like I mentioned before, the RAV is using the Power DNS server. And if you have already installed, so you just only point the RAV to use the database, and it will be taking all the information and it will be managing the server. And the second thing is a DHCP server. There is problem because the DHCP server, the Linux DHCP server is not working, and there is not storing the information in database. So there is a script in Python which generates the DHCP configuration file and upload to the DHCP server, and the rest are the server. And it's periodically checking if there is no information change in the database. And this is the information. This is the control pan when you choose would you like to change the information from the device and add to the DNS server or DHCP server. Basically, I don't have in my environment define the schedule of the naming and the networks, but in this area you should get the information about the first free name and first IP that is free on the specific network which device belongs. And adding this device is very simple to the DHCP server. You just enter the MAC address and specify the IP address and save it. And for example, I have only record A in our DNS server. Also, you can use PTR pointer record. And detected address, this is the address which was detected from this discovery on this machine. I have two different IPs because it was in a virtual environment. And the main thing which I'm using mostly is device browser. Device browser is basically the view that you can find device, you can see the device by point of the data center, and also by the CMDB relations. First view is this is the venture view. Basically, it shows us the separation about the ventures we have created, and each venture we can define sub-ventures, etc., because it's the child-parent relation, and each device we can assign the role, which I mentioned before, that is taken by the Puppet classifier to apply the Puppet manifest. And the second view, what I like to share with you is the network the network view. Basically, you have information about the name of the network, which what is the scope of the network. You can also put the additional information. From this view, you can also put the whole scan of the network, so you can discover the devices in this device. On this address tab, you will have information about devices which belongs to the current network. The advanced search, this is one of the most using most most view page, because from this point of view we can find the machine we are looking for from the host name, address, and other information that we have. Basically, it shows the information. If you're looking for the machines in practical in some of the network segment, you just put the network address and we'll find all the device that belongs to it. The sources, if you want to take your test drive of the RAV, you can find on the GitHub. And also there is the beast API version, command line version. And if you're looking to find more about the open source project that has been developed in Allegro, you can just visit the Allegro.io website. And if you have any questions, I have also on my laptop not so working my demo, so I was preparing the presentation. If you would like to have a look of the system in, let's say, lab view, I can show you. I will let you share with you.
Okay, do you have any questions to Daniel regarding Ralph? Probably not right now. There's one, okay.
Can you tell us something more about the Puppet integration that you mentioned, the Puppet role? Is it really an integration?
Yes, it's integration, because I'm not working with Puppet so much, but I can tell you the briefly and frankly information about that. And the basic is that we have the manifest right in some kind of way that the manifest is corresponding with venture, and the role is defined by class. And after the classifier is taking the information from the RAV about the device and which role is assigned to it, and after that is applying the correct manifest to the machine. Is it enough, or you want to hear more about this?
So in order to change configuration of a particular class of servers, you just change the
manifest,
of the role
for the specific
corresponding
role,
to that role.
And after that, the agent will be taking the new manifest and will be reapplying the information from it.
And can you clarify the venture? Can you give an example of what a venture is?
Venture, okay. You can use, basically you can describe it your own way. In our environment, we are using mostly for describing the service or business application.
All right.
So if you have, for example, I know, maybe SAP application, and then you have defined the venture, which is named, for example, SAP, and it has two roles, for example, web server, database server, and I don't know what kind of other stuff is in the SAP, some other SAP stuff, so you have the role for the SAP. So basically you define this in sub roles. But also you can have, you can define this like your infrastructure is working. For example, you have, I don't know, maybe back office, and in back office we will have child sub-ventures will be corresponding, like I mentioned, the SAP, I don't know, Exchange server, Windows server, etc. And in that we'll have the information about the roles. So we can make some three structural point of view about the venture.
Okay, thank you very much.
Any questions?
Any more questions about Ralph?
Yes.
Okay, one more.
It looks like a bunch of the stuff is quite similar to what the foreman does, and underlying that the cobbler. Have you looked at those projects? Would they be useful with that?
What can I say? Basically, probably, I'm not on the core developer team, which is writing the RAV. But as far I know, for the deployment, you are asking the point of view. Basically, the operating system deployment is using the kickstarts, and after that is applying the Puppet manifest and doing all the stuff which probably doing with the cobbler. So really it's difficult from my point of tell you that the information about that, because
Okay, then slightly different question. What systems are you able to deploy using?
currently we are using it for the Linux, mostly the Ubuntu and other, for example, Red Hat and Oracle Enterprise Linux, basically. And we are probably thinking, because we are for the Windows servers using different tool, but probably we'll be moving to also to the RAV deployment. But basically it's for the unique Linux operating system. It's defined, because I haven't shown it, if you want I can show you on my demo, because I don't have this part of the RAV configure. You define the information, what type of the boot mechanism you choose, and then you define the, for example, like I mentioned, the kickstart, so you put the kickstart information, which is exposed via HTTP by using the IPX server. So after that is applying the information from this server. If you want, I can show you a little bit more.
Okay, thank you for the questions. Thank you for presenting us, Ralph. And I'm going to have another presentation right now.